Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms, including Facebook and YouTube. So if you're joining from either place, please feel free to leave us a question or a comment. Hopefully I'll be able to address it as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. And let's get started here with a look at the headlines. And through the rest of the night tonight, it'll be quiet, mostly clear skies and warm. Temperatures only drop down into the lower 60s even through the overnight hours. So it'd be a great night to even leave those windows open and get that fresh air circulating through your house or your apartment. And it's going to be another great day through tomorrow as well. Plenty of sunshine, a bit breezy and very warm, potentially record-breaking warmth with temperatures topping out in the mid 80s. But all of that comes before another cold frontal passage for Sunday night. And now along that cold front, we do have that potential for an isolated severe thunderstorm risk. Not expecting widespread severe weather here, especially with a few caveats in place that I'll explain in a moment. But behind that cold front, we will clear out through Sunday night, and that will be a cooler start to the work week with temperatures coming back down to around normal. Let's take a look at that severe risk for tomorrow. And again, we're looking at mainly tomorrow night, so much of the Sunday is going to be fine. And the greatest risk for severe weather still remains off to the north and east of the Evansville area through portions of southeastern Indiana out towards Ohio and even into southwestern Pennsylvania. But here at home, we do have that level 1 to 2 risk for an isolated severe thunderstorm. And our primary threats here would be a damaging wind gust or even some hail. Can't completely rule out maybe a tornado, but it looks like the dynamics for that still much better farther off to the northeast of the tri-state. And that's all considering this cap in place. You know, if we do get some thunderstorms to develop, they may be capable of producing this kind of weather. However, that cap is fairly strong, and models continue to indicate some struggle in terms of initiation of that convection. So let me take you through our Sunday. Again, mostly sunny through the entire day. A few passing clouds possible into the afternoon. And then as we get towards Sunday evening, that's when we'll notice an increase in that cloud cover along the leading edge of that front. And then as that front passes by, that's where we have the chance for a few showers and thunderstorms to get kicked up in the wake of that front. But you'll notice farther off to the northeast, out towards the Louisville area and even north and east of there, that's where the better chances for those thunderstorms are. However, if we do see a little bit of a break in the cap or a weakening in that cap, we could develop a thunderstorm that may be able to produce that isolated severe weather threat. So even if we do see any severe thunderstorms, it would be very isolated in nature and not widespread by any means. And now I just want to show you another model here. That was our in-house model. That has been pretty persistent in keeping that cap in place. Now this is the HRRR model, another short-range model, not too different from what our in-house model was showing. Maybe better chances for some thunderstorms there north of I-64, but still fairly weak if that cap does break. Still not seeing a whole lot of coverage in those thunderstorms, especially here within the tri-state. Again, better chances farther off to the north and east. But we're going to keep that alert day in the event that we do see an isolated severe thunderstorm. They may be capable of producing hail and damaging winds. And I do want to explain a little bit about what a cap is, since this is the weather show. A lot of people come in here looking for a more detailed forecast and a little bit more of the science behind the forecast and some of the things that we talk about. Well, a cap essentially is just a warm layer of air hanging out aloft. So what that warm layer of air will act as is kind of a bit of a ceiling. So as we have rising air coming up from the surface, it doesn't really have anywhere to rise and cool and eventually condense and turn into a thunderstorm. It kind of reaches a ceiling and flattens out, and we don't really get any convection out of it. But if it were to be a little bit weak in a few spots or erode away completely, that parcel of air rising up from the surface would be able to develop into a thunderstorm. And in this case, there would be that potential for some hail or damaging winds. So that's what the alert day is mostly for. And again, that would be for Sunday night only. The entire day on Sunday is going to be just fine, a little bit breezy and very warm. So I still recommend you get outside and take advantage of that. So that's kind of the latest in terms of that severe weather threat. Very, very marginal and conditional risk there, but we just kind of wanted to give you a heads up in case anything does happen. But here's a look at the radar across the United States. So we've got this area of low pressure that's continuing to pass through the Great Lakes region, spreading some more snow showers across portions of northern New England, a few rain and snow showers there across the northern plains, and then here in the tri-state, all dry thanks to that area of high pressure off to the southwest. And looking at our Doppler radar here, we had a few clouds stream in earlier in the day, but those all cleared off to our east, and we've been sunny ever since. And now tonight we're going to stay mostly clear. But with that sunshine, we warmed all the way up into the lower 80s, topping out at around 81 degrees here in the Evansville area, and that runs us around 22 degrees above average for this time of year. And again, it gets only warmer by the time we get into tomorrow. Now, since this afternoon, we've cooled down a good bit. We are now sitting in the upper 60s for the most part across the tri-state. A few areas still hanging on to 70 degrees, like down towards Madisonville, but we're sitting at around 69 here in Evansville, 68 towards Newburgh, 66 up towards Mount Carmel. And through the next 12 hours, we'll drop down into the lower 60s with mostly clear skies. Tomorrow we'll climb up into the mid-80s, sitting at around 86 degrees for tomorrow afternoon. Mostly sunny, again a bit breezy, gust up to 25 miles per hour possible out of the southwest. Now, taking a look at that record-breaking warmth, if we do reach a forecast high of around 86 degrees, that would smash that old record of 80 set back in 1988. So abnormally warm, especially for this time of year. Even though it is now fully springtime, this is more like early summer type temperatures. But we will be brought back down to reality here through the start of the work week. We'll only top out in the 50s there for our Monday, which is right around average, and then we'll climb up through the 60s, 70s, and possibly reaching 80 degrees again by the middle and end of next week before another cold front comes in here Thursday night and into Friday. That'll take our temperatures back down into the upper 50s. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and check out some of the comments. Looks like a lot of people talking about just how gorgeous of a day it was. Yes, it really was perfect for a Saturday. Hopefully you guys took advantage of it. Carolyn says hello from Hobstadt. She's got the windows open. She's asking if it'll get real bad tomorrow night. I'm not really expecting anything too terrible again. If we do see thunderstorms develop, it would be a fairly isolated severe weather risk with primarily damaging winds and hail as our threats. Brian says, good evening from Franklin Hill in Tell City. Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you for joining us here on the Weather Show. And Laura Gray is in the comments. She is watching from Dawson Springs. Good to have a couple of regulars here on the Weather Show at 9. But let's take a look at some of our rain chances here through the rest of the week. Outside of tomorrow night with that risk for an isolated severe storm, we're looking at some slight chances for showers there Wednesday into Thursday, and then the better chances arrive along that cold front headed into Friday. Now, taking a look at the longer range GFS model here, you'll notice we'll be dry through much of the day Wednesday. It's not until Wednesday night into very early Thursday morning that we see our next best chance for a couple of showers. And then that cold front wants to slide in here overnight Thursday into early Friday morning, and then it wants to continue to rain through the day on Friday. Now, this model going a little bit overboard in terms of that colder air coming in from the north, putting down some snowfall, but not expecting that to actually happen. Temperatures are just going to be well too warm to see any of that. So not to worry about that. We're looking at mainly just rainfall there through our Friday. But there's a look at your 7-day forecast. I'll take that full screen so you guys can get a better look at it. Other than the alert day tomorrow, all is fairly calm up until we see another cold front move in by the end of next week, Thursday into Friday, with another drop in those temperatures. 81 for Thursday, back down into the 50s for Friday and into Saturday. So that is the latest in terms of your forecast there. Still looking at some of the comments. Paula says a good thunderstorm without strong winds would make for some good sleep. Yes, it would, and hopefully that's pretty much what we would hope for tomorrow. Again, with that cap in place, we may hardly even see a few showers break through. So it really could just be nothing at all, or just a stray shower or thunderstorm with that isolated severe risk. So widespread severe weather not expected, but we'll keep that alert day in effect for tomorrow evening. But that is all the questions and comments that I'm seeing. So I'm going to hop off the live stream, and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your night.